Welcome to Rogelio, a space where we explore and discuss complex and often difficult topics. Before we begin, we want to acknowledge that today's discussion may cover traumatic events and include language and topics that could be triggering for some. Please be advised that we are not healthcare professionals, psychologists, or legal advisors. The content shared in this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be considered as professional advice. If you find yourself feeling overwhelmed or in need of support, we strongly encourage you to seek help from a qualified professional. In case of an emergency, please do not hesitate to contact emergency services immediately. Our goal is to foster understanding and awareness while respecting the sensitivity of the subjects discussed. Listener discretion is advised. Thank you for joining us, and let's approach today's topic with empathy and openness.
Rogelio, thanks for joining us today. We got some topics. Last time we covered dreams.
Yep.
Mostly nightmares. Well, maybe next time we should focus on
good dreams?
Good dreams instead of terrifying dreams.
I occasionally have good dreams.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I don't need to focus on the ones that, make me want to curl up into a ball.
Yeah.
And we also discussed, what was the other thing?
Thought cycles and panic attacks. Those
panic attacks, yeah.
Hand in hand.
And how you are more experienced with the 20, 30-minute freakouts, and I'm more experienced with the
week-long,
month-long, just
yeah,
crippling anxiety. Although I have had the occasional bad 20, 30-minute where you're just
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you take a medication or something, you calm yourself down, or you use meditation, whatever you need to.
Ice cream. Everyone has different things.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh, I miss ice cream. I can't have a lot of ice cream right now because of the phosphorus.
Oh, dang. You want me to make you non-phosphorus ice cream?
Porter actually, or Balrog, actually let me know about, there's some ice cream they have at stores that's non-dairy ice cream that doesn't have a lot of phosphorus in it, so.
You could get into, sorbet.
That's an interesting topic.
There's Italian
ices and gelato. Is gelato?
I don't know if gelato's dairy.
I don't know. I have to look into that. I don't know if the Italian ices are great because there's, you can eat those all day and they're just sugar. Thankfully, I don't have diabetes. That's not the reason my kidney failed, but
yeah.
God, I can't even tell you how much I would not want to have diabetes and kidney failure.
I think that's a good place to start. Just the thought of, you could have other issues that could be worse.
I think that could be something good to discuss.
Yeah.
As long as we don't. Yeah, perspective. Don't lose your perspective, but also don't shit on yourself saying, well, I could have it worse. There's no reason to complain. Because that's entirely a bad way to look at things.
That would be denying your feelings. And I think
I used to do that
very
a lot
damaging.
As a kid.
Yeah.
I would say, my parents were well, at least you don't have this, at least you don't have that. I'm like, but my kidney failed and it's pretty awful.
Yeah.
Can I at least be sad about it?
Yeah.
But, they never said I couldn't be sad about it. They're just they're really trying to help you when they're saying, it could be worse. So it's, I get it. But
I think that saying is kind of,
double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword. It could be worse. It's yeah, but it's already bad.
Yeah.
You're not accepting that it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
And a big thing that a lot of the content that I see for children these days is allowing them their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be mad. But when you deny those feelings, then they turn into other things. That sadness can turn into anger. Anger can turn into resentment.
I guess if you maybe reframe it and say, not be grateful that you don't have it so bad, but, I'm not exactly sure, because it doesn't seem like, when you look at it, be grateful it's not this bad. Okay, yeah, but it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
So
it could be bad. It's important to express and feel your feelings, not bottle them up or try to change them into something else.
Yeah, you deny things and just say, oh yeah, no, it's not that bad, therefore I don't have to feel bad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not how it works. You feel bad.
Yeah.
You feel bad. That's
Yeah.
your feelings.
It's okay to feel bad.
For sure. So
Let's see.
is there-
We gave ourselves some challenges last week. Maybe we could start there.
Okay, so I actually do beans count as vegetables? No, right?
I think they're a legume.
No.
But
Okay,
I would let you pass the gas. Or
Okay.
I would give you
Then
like
I
a go
had
beans.
that and carrots and I think I tried steamed carrots and cucumbers or something, and it was
Steamed cucumbers?
yeah. I just
Interesting.
threw it all together,
Yeah.
and because I was tired yesterday, and I just did not have the energy to say, okay, I'm gonna try and make a stir fry, which
Yeah.
would have been a better thing to try.
Maybe a more pleasant mouth experience.
I don't. I'm thinking next on Friday I will try stir fry,
I would say
and beans was the main part of
to
the meal.
anyone getting into cooking, starting
Mhm.
from
Yeah,
in the beginning layer, so don't improvise too much.
yeah. It's
Because I used to do that a lot, and my dishes were all interesting.
Interesting being the kind word. You're
The
just
kind word. I'm not gonna
Not
say it
exactly
tasted like dog
pleasant.
food. Not necessarily pleasant. It's like.
yeah, I can steam carrots and they're good. Why can't I steam cucumbers? Because you're an idiot.
They're-
That's why.
The cucumbers will just get all mushy if you steam them.
It was
Yeah.
awful. But the carrots weren't terrible and the beans were fine.
I love steamed carrots. I love cucumbers, but I think I like cucumbers
I like them raw.
raw more than I like them cooked.
Yeah, because I think the water content in them is way too high for them to
Yeah.
really
They just
cook
fall
well.
apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, well, you know what? I also probably picked it because I'll actually eat the cucumbers raw later.
Yeah. So let me provide you a resource,
Sure.
which might help you along your cooking
Mhm.
endeavors. The Food Network has this app, which
Mhm.
allows you to put ingredients in,
Mm-hmm.
and then it will give you a dish to make with them. And that's a good resource because I use curry and stir fry as a means of getting all my leftover vegetables that are about to spoil into a
Mhm.
cooked dish so they last a little bit longer and then I can eat them. And so it's always just kind of random. Like for instance, this week I made a curry with celery, beans, corn, and some old tomatoes.
Why didn't I just have corn? Really? Why? I love corn. Just buttered corn. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. But so curry is really good to get things into it that you wouldn't necessarily regularly eat. But the same thing goes for a stir fry. And maybe we should have a cooking session one day.
Sure, I'm all
So
for it.
I'm all for allowing, everyone learns different ways.
Differently.
Some people learn best through doing, and then slightly modifying their dish next time versus steaming. You could try grilling the same things, and then see what happens. Or I would
Okay.
say,
Yeah, grilling.
I don't know many dishes that are beans, carrots, and cucumbers. Outside of
No, it was purely what was easiest. You just
Yeah.
put the beans in the
Bam,
microwave.
you had 'em.
That
It's
you just, I'm like, all right, put them in this.
Yeah.
Because I just did not have the energy.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So I wanted to be able to say that I at least attempted it. However, poorly I attempted it.
Yeah,
It was at least attempted.
Let's not beat you up. Let's turn around and we can talk about my endeavors to make a song.
Sure.
What was it last night? I think actually a few nights I've been working at it.
Nice.
I have a MIDI keyboard.
Yeah, I have one too.
And Ableton Live, and I
Mhm.
plugged it in, and I was trying to make music, but there was some input or maybe output latency. There's latency in the programming, so I'm pressing a button, and then in
And the
my
sound
headphones,
doesn't-
it's
mhm.
delayed, and it's when I'm playing something, I kind of need that immediate feedback to understand where I am, because I can't know where I am in the song and then hear something on a delay. It just makes me fall apart. So I spent
Mm-hmm.
I spent like an hour or two trying to troubleshoot my computer and figure this out, and I googled it. Okay, where are the different types of delays? And then at the end, I was just like, I'm done. Like, I'm not even making music right now. This is stupid. So then the next time, what I did is I changed my composition tactics.
Okay.
And I just like, I'm inputting the notes into the program, and then the computer's playing it. And so I'm getting into a different type of composing. Normally I'll just sit there and I'll play it, and then I'll like record it, and then I'll use that. But now I'm trying to
gives you a different perspective.
Program it. And so then I was having fun with that, and then I was like, well, I'm done. I did make some things, but nothing that I would consider an opening. But I still have 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this. You have a month to do it. It's not something that needs. It's not something that needs to be perfect. It just needs to be started.
I know. It
just
started.
You started just like I started. Was it a great attempt? No.
It was a great attempt.
It was an attempt. It was great to attempt it.
It was great.
It wasn't a great attempt.
No, it wasn't. It was a good. It was a good attempt. It wasn't a good outcome.
That's fair.
Or it's like maybe, and that is, I think, acceptable. I need to be more accepting of like less than ideal outcomes.
I think that's what a lot of people need to do. You need to be accepting of, or accept the outcome, but cheer the effort.
Yeah, for
sure.
So,
like the fact that you put it in there, you tried it, the music, and it didn't sync up with you because it wasn't the instantaneous feedback that is fair. A lot of people need that instantaneous feedback, and maybe I'll come across something, or somebody else will come across something, and we can help you get that instantaneous feedback that you need.
That'd be nice.
But you found a way around it. And
I did.
So you didn't stop.
And then ultimately I decided to move my piano to a different part of my house. I was like...
I came in, I'm like, there's something different about it. I can't put my finger on it, but...
I have an idea of what I want the song to start like. And it's going to be C major. I think I'll start with chords versus notes. Because I want to kind of like have a progression, but not a progression of sweeping notes. A number of the other things that I've tried to write are tons of sweeping notes.
I was just thinking, because you're talking about that maybe a great idea for me for cooking would be to, since I love pizza so much, try and integrate some vegetables that I can into a pizza that I would like.
You could totally make
like I could still
a healthy pizza, and then for you it could have like less potassium because you can move away from, because it's your own creation. You didn't even have to use tomatoes.
That's true. Could use we had that one.
You could do a pesto sauce.
Yeah, we did that.
You could do a white sauce.
Yeah, we did that one day.
Pizza is the ultimate vessel
for
vegetables
anything,
or for anything.
But generally, like, I haven't liked the texture of cooked vegetables on pizza, but maybe I can look into a better way to cook it.
A nice pan-seared veggie has a different mouthfeel than an oven-baked veggie, which can be a little mushy, and a little watery. If I'm going to, I like texture in my food, and especially for vegetables, because I think that's like what puts off a lot of meat eaters who are trying to increase the amount of veggies is texture.
Oh, I don't mind the taste of vegetables, and I love vegetables raw. Like, I'll eat carrots, I'll eat cucumbers, I'll eat salads and everything. That's fine. But the moment you cook it, like, I don't even like lettuce on my hamburger, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't. And
nobody cooks the lettuce.
That's true.
It's raw.
But it's also...
Well, I hope nobody does it.
Yeah.
Looking at you, person who's cooking their lettuce on their hamburger.
Okay, what I should say is I don't like the combination of textures when you mix vegetables with meat, I think. Yeah. To me, it just weirds me out.
Yeah.
So whether it's cooked or whatever, I just tend not to like it. Like tomatoes, don't like them on my hamburgers either.
Yeah.
for a long time, I didn't like cheese on hamburgers.
Whoa.
Just because I didn't like the texture.
Yeah.
It was something about it.
If you have a plate of food, is it okay for your different types of food to be touching each other? Or must they remain separate?
Oh, they can touch each other so long as they're, like, not marinated in each other.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know, if a carrot goes into my mashed potatoes, I'm not going to not eat the carrot.
Yeah.
But if, like, the carrot is steamed and chopped up and put in the mashed potatoes, I'm probably not going to like it as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, if corn gets into my mashed potato, I'm not, like,
Some people are like
hypersensitive.
that.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own opinions.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, now I like cheese on hamburgers. Not
Yeah.
all the time, but, you know, it doesn't bother me like it used to. So maybe, you know, these veggies won't bother me like they used to when I was a kid or teenager.
Yeah.
So it's great to give that a try. Anyways, you were talking about your song composition. And,
Oh, no, I said it all. I tried to make it, similarly, where I did the thing, I didn't like what I got, but I'll do it again, and I'll eventually get there.
Yeah.
I am accepting the outcome that I received.
Yeah. You put in the effort, and that's the important part, because as long as you keep putting that effort in, eventually you're gonna get something that's good, you know.
Or not.
You gotta get used to the effort.
Yeah,
being
it's about
the reward.
It's about doing, which should be its own reward.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't do for an outcome, because then you're only outcome driven, and you're not experiencing the joy of doing.
You're not experiencing what it is to improve or do, you know, something in a different way.
Yeah, and it's not even like improving, because I feel like too many people are concerned about being a better version of themselves and not accepting who they are right now. And so you can do an activity which is an improvement for you, but unless you are accepting of yourself as you are now, as is,
why are you going to accept yourself in the future?
Yeah, like you shouldn't think that you only accept yourself in the future.
There's no amount
You have to accept yourself now.
There's no amount of improvement that'll make you feel better about yourself if you can't accept yourself where you are in the moment.
Yeah, because nobody is going to be perfect all the time. And certainly, you know, after you've been working out for a year and you've been watching your diet, you look into the mirror and you're like, oh man, I look like a Greek god. And then you have one pizza, and then you're like, oh, what's this? Oh.
Yeah.
And then so it's like, then you're upset that you had that pizza, and then you're back to the point where you're unhappy.
You don't want to, you don't want to slide back. Whereas you're just like, if you focus on the effort, you're just like, okay, well, so I did this. Maybe you look at it as this is a chance to, you know, give more effort to something.
Yeah.
Because it's always about the
It's important to accept who you are, where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're, I mean, I feel like everyone has seen somebody who is like angry at the gym.
I mean, like, whether or not you've seen it in real life, you've seen it in a movie at some point.
You've seen it in the movie, you've seen it in the memes. It's just like there's that angry guy.
And, I mean,
who hates himself.
I saw this in another podcast, and they're like, you know,
you gotta be angry at yourself to motivate yourself.
But also, like, they just want to, like, they want to get fit and, like, they want to look good, and then they want to they expect to be treated well because they've done that instead of realizing.
Well, I put in the effort.
Yeah, the effort. I did this, so you need to reward me.
Yeah,
and that's not how it works.
No,
the reward is. You feel better about yourself. You feel healthier, and you're better able to interact with the world on a more positive terms.
Maybe through this hard work that you've done,
mm-hmm.
you have a better sense of self-confidence.
True.
And then you tell yourself you feel better.
Yeah. No.
And the thing is that the human brain could feel better any time, and it's like you don't have to go through. An epic transformation to the point where you can achieve happiness. Yeah. Happiness is easier than people think, but it's a lot of people don't think that they deserve happiness, so they are then themselves unhappy.
I wonder if maybe happiness is a lot simpler than people think, but not necessarily easy.
It's not easy.
It's simple. You just need to be content. And you need to be okay with things as they are now, and you not let other judgments and things get you down.
You know, I think the other misnomer, or the thing that people get wrong, is they expect happiness to be ecstatic or ecstasy, and those are different. So it is different to experience ecstasy than it is to be happy. Happy, like you're saying, it's being content. Mm-hmm. It's like, and it's not the manic person who's smiling all the time. When you're in the middle of a house on fire, you're smiling because you're a happy person. No, that's not happiness. Happiness is, you know, being content where you are and being able to smile when you're in a joyful moment.
I also think happiness and contentment are not necessarily the same things.
They're not, but they're more similar, I think, than...
I mean, you can be content but not happy, and you can be happy but not content. Because I've been happy before, a lot of times, but like true contentment, it just seems like something that largely eludes me on, like...
Oh, so happiness is like the moment, but you're thinking of contentment being a kind of residual feeling, a plane in which you achieve, it's a level of existence contentment.
Kind of. It's more like, I am what I am, what'll happen will happen, and I'm okay with that. That's kind of what contentment means to me. That means I'm not afraid of what I'm missing out on. I'm not worried about this. I mean, you know, you worry about things and you worry about missing out, but you're like, it's kind of like, if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, okay.
Yeah.
And you don't feel like you've lost something terribly.
You don't feel like you're missing some layer of life, which... Yeah.
And so,
So what is the opposite of contentment? Is it like discontent? Or
discontent,
like
yeah. Where you
desiring a different situation
or I think
outcome?
It's kind of like a Zen type of thing. When you think in, you know, Buddhist religion and Eastern religion, where you think you're Zen, you're content. Things happen around you, but they don't, like...
Affect you? Oh, like Stoicism.
Kind of like Stoicism, but it's just, like, you're going to be who you are, and you're going to do what you do, and what you believe, no matter what the outcome is, or how people interact with you.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's very, very tough to achieve, that kind of contentment. And sometimes you don't always want to be content. I mean, there's a certain amount of discontent will, you know, can spur action and positive change, I think.
But I think that's the angry guy at the gym.
But not, it can be if it's taken too far, like any extreme. But if you're like, you see something on the news about, you know, like, wars, or you know, how people are doing this, or you see people being just like absolute dicks to other people, and you're you're just not okay with that. It'll spur you to act.
So I think I think that's observations of behaviors which you are not okay with is different than personal satisfaction or contentment. So like, I'm personally not okay with the state that the world is in.
Well, yeah,
so it's like
a few people, but
then at the same time, I cannot, or I don't want to internalize negative feelings because of it, because many of those things are outside of my control. So, and maybe that's just my version of contentness, is accepting that there are externalities that are outside of my control. So I don't want to be, I can't be that upset about Russia trying to take over the world,
or
committing atrocities to their neighbors. And don't get me wrong, I think it's terrible, and I wish it would
there's
stop.
only so much.
But I'm not sure how I can really make an impactful change in that situation. And if I sit and fret about it too much, then I'm like internalizing these negative feelings when I have no control over it. So I don't know. I think my version of contentment, to kind of close the circle on this topic, is being accepting. Just accepting what is versus desiring alternate outcomes. And I've been working on that a really long time, and I'm definitely not all the way there. There are times when I'm like, oh, I wish I desire a different outcome. But I try to bring myself back to the position of accepting negative outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy when you've been dealt a fantastic hand versus, if you have a subpar hand in the poker game of life.
True.
You're like, man, I wish I had aces right now. Why do I have twos?
Yeah, I think it is generally more difficult for people who've started out on a lower financial, social, or whatever position to say oh, I'm okay with where I am.
Yeah.
And you want to have better, but it isn't going to destroy your life.
You won't be better if you have everything. And even rich people are sad and get mad and are discontent. And it's an illusion of having other things which will then deliver different feelings. And so that's the argument of where I'm just kind of counter arguing this, the poor person who wants to be rich and they think they'll be better if they're rich. They don't know what it's like to be rich.
It comes with its own set of
more
negatives.
Money, more problems, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's desire is the root of unhappiness.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that.
There is. And I've questioned that a lot and thought about it a lot. And I will say, when I'm a gamer, and I desire to have the best possible equipment. Money can buy. But even when I've made that machine before. I've made the best of the best at the time, and I've had this $4,000 machine.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to play a game, and it's still shitty. And it's I have just spent 2 months of my life making the best possible computer that I can, and this game still runs like trash. And it's the illusion of having better things that you will have a better experience.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Even when you have the best stuff, you'll still have choppy frame rates because all of the games are poorly designed.
I also think you think, there are things that can make your life better.
There can.
But it's very hard to know what those things are sometimes.
And so
the thing you want may not be the thing you need, and the thing that you want will not be the thing that makes you better.
Yeah.
So
and then there's also in the terms of PC building, there's diminishing returns.
Well, yeah, you the first $800 is going to get you the most performance.
You're 80% there.
Yeah, and then the next 1,200 will get you another
maybe 5%,
10% there, and then the next 2,000 will get you 5% there, and the next $8,000 will get you to 98%, and it's just
and if I had $100,000, right?
I'm gonna build my own chamber.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna make my own design team to redesign these stupid games to actually work on the stuff that I have.
You're gonna be Elon Musk and just open up your own gaming thing, and you're just all right, I don't want you to make anything new.
No.
I just want you to make the games I love.
Can you remake Donkey Kong? Because that was where it was at. All right, so we've meandered a lot, and that's okay.
That's good.
I have topics, but
Sure.
I wanted to ask you if I wanted to talk about, and this is heavy.
Sure.
Dying.
Okay. That's interesting
death
topic.
and dying.
I've had different relationships too.
And how some people are more concerned of so there's it's a big topic, but so there's nobody wants to die in pain.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to live forever. However, it's completely not everyone. Many people.
I'm also of a slight belief that living forever might be a special kind of hell. Because,
Well, is that because you've read stories where people have, live
It's
forever,
because
and then
if
they
you
see all their friends die, and then
no, it's all because if you live long enough, there's going to be nothing new to experience, and everything will happen as it has already happened.
how do you know?
I don't know, but even if it does, even if there is new things, you could go through. Say you were unable to die,
Okay.
and I have an idea for a story that I'm working on, and this character, okay, he's immortal. He's also stuck at a 30-year-old's rate of time, like how the time passes in their head.
Mm.
As you get older,
Time changes.
Time seems to go faster and faster and faster.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that maybe if that happened, it would drive you slowly insane over time because, an eon would be like a snap of the fingers after living so long, or you would forget so much. And, I'm not sure how a brain could work on that. So my suggestion was that their memories are all backed up in, a separate universe. And they have instant recall of everything they've ever experienced. They experience time like it's passing for a 30-year-old person. And they're basically a time capsule created by humanity so that...
So you have thought of it.
Of death? Of living forever? Yeah. Infinity really intrigues me as a concept.
Yeah.
But, so what if this person cannot die and they literally lived through billions, if not untold trillions of universes? We're not talking years, we're talking universes, and some where they're infinite and some where they're not infinite, and all kinds of everything in between. And they've experienced so much that they can go long stretches of time. We're talking like the entirety of a universe and not experience one unique moment. I'm not saying, and then they could go to another universe, and everything they experience is a new moment. So you could have both, because if the universe is truly infinite.
If you eat apple pie,
Mm-hmm.
it tastes good.
True.
And if you eat apple pie again,
Mm-hmm.
it tastes good.
And if you eat apple pie every single day for 1,000,000 years, does it taste as good?
I could eat pizza every day.
I can't. I can't
Well,
eat anything every single day.
You can't?
No, not
I could eat
every
curry every day. Sure.
Not every single day. I gotta have a Sunday. I gotta take it on the Sabbath, okay? That I can't. Or is that Saturday? Saturday the Sabbath? Because
Depends which religion.
Oh, fair enough. But-
Jews it's Saturday, Christians it's Sunday.
But yeah, that's the thing I'm going for, is that I also don't think humans are built for immortality. Unless we somehow evolve.
Wouldn't you no longer be human?
I mean, in the state I described it, biologically and everything else, but for the whatever, is still human.
But what if they're blown up?
What?
So are they what if they were reduced to the atomic level via so they're impervious to external modification?
Well, there's a little hand waving that goes about, but you could say, okay, there's a sheen of indestructible whatever around them to absorb any kind of thing, and there's a computer that regulates the contact, so you can feel the contact and you can let things through, but you cannot actually die, or there's nanoprobes in there that constantly regenerate you, and the other thing was there's an AI companion, and there's a whole civilization of AIs around you just to keep you alive and human, because the point was to create a time capsule, basically. This is what humanity was at this point in time, and that type of thing is not meant to live forever.
Maybe.
Maybe. I'm a human. I'm not sure that I can imagine something where I want to live forever, but maybe that there's another higher state of being which we can evolve, that people will eventually evolve into, but not us unless we genetically modify ourselves somehow.
Yeah.
that, you know, we'd be okay, we'd be bred for that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm
But
open
so
to the possibility that living forever could be its own kind of hell.
So I don't think, no, I know, well, this is a big topic. So the identity of individualism could be false. Like, individuality, maybe we are already eternal beings. Or
It's
we are
possible.
experiencing a kind of a version of eternity. For instance, it's like, there is the idea of the self, and then there's the death of the self. But then all of the atoms that make us will certainly not decay for a long time, because we're constantly being remade through atoms, and the atoms are going other places, and we're not the same person that we were the month ago because we're all different atoms.
Mm-hmm.
And then so it's like, where am I within that body? Am I the brain? Am I the spark of life, which is like the layer beyond physical being? Is that really a thing, or is it some intangible idea that we're kind of thinking of? So it's like, I think that we experience a type of eternity already.
It's possible.
And I don't even know where I'm going with this. But so I think what I'm getting at is this. So like when you die, does the idea of Joel die? Does
Mhm.
Joel die? Or do I just become something else?
It's true. I mean, yeah, that you could, you know, the version of an afterlife where you become something else and you can be okay with, you know, living forever. But I think as humans, like if we were
As
ever,
humans, we don't remember previous things.
but I mean, as a human, if we were to live forever as we are,
Yeah. We would
I'm-
probably go insane.
that's what I'm trying to, because I can't know what's in the next life,
Yeah.
so I don't know if I want to live it. Or
Yeah. You could be a pile of crap.
well, yeah, you could be a worm, you could be any
Worm.
kind of living organism,
I'm
possibly.
not even trying
or,
to get into the reincarnation
Mhm.
topic here. I was just more talking about death. The original intent of the topic was I'm going to talk about death. I'm going to talk about how we perceive death, and then how some of us, sometimes myself, in many cases, the references that I provide these are like my thoughts. So like I am concerned of dying for sure, because I don't know what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, I accept that I will die. There's
Mhm.
nothing that I can do to prevent that. Literally nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I know that I will die,
Mm-hmm.
this is why it's important to live in the now versus the later.
Because you
and
don't
this
know
is
what
why-
the end is.
You don't know what the end is. And this is why it's important to be content or be happy with who you are and the state that you are.
Mm-hmm.
Because tomorrow there is no guarantee.
I used to be very afraid of death. Actually, I just used to be afraid in general. I still am, but I realized I really wasn't as afraid of death in itself. I was afraid of like all the hell that could go on before I got there.
Yeah.
Because I've had surgeries, I've had infusions, I've had mega tests, I've had so many blood draws, IVs, and all that.
Yeah.
And it's not that I was necessarily afraid of dying. It's
You're not afraid of death or being dead. You're afraid of the process, because it's
Yeah.
going to be a painful, disgusting process.
I mean,
Could be.
it could be, and even living, I've experienced that,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and then I like asked myself one day, I'm like, would if you died, would that be like, are you afraid of that? I'm like, I'd be afraid of that if I knew what was coming after, but I don't.
Yeah.
And so I realized I was just afraid of all the horrible stuff that's happened to me happening again.
Yeah.
And so once I realized that, I got a little bit less afraid in my day-to-day life, that I wasn't afraid of death.
Yeah.
I was afraid of all this other stuff, and like the fear kind of ratcheted down a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I always have an undercurrent of anxiety about me almost any point in any given day, and so you got to interrogate that every once in a while, why you're feeling the way you're feeling.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can do it successfully, and you just realize you're tense for absolutely no reason.
Yeah. Like,
'Cause
why
you
am I
just-
tense?
Because it's just been there.
You're
and
tense because you're tense.
You're tense because you've been tense.
Yeah.
And you're going to be tense. And that's just how it is. I mean, it's something that's not how it is. You just have to, get your rational brain to cut in there and make some observations, and then you let your emotional brain see that.
Yeah.
And then it kind of
lessens that rational brain. So, now we've talked about the experience, kind of how we're feeling it. Let's talk about resources and what you can do about it. What you're saying there, the observation is key, especially for being tense. There's a practice, I forget where I originally picked this up. Maybe it was through Ram Dass. He wrote this book, Be Here Now.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just the general practice of understanding that. So, and this goes back to runaway thoughts, thought cycles. You aren't your thoughts. You're a layer beyond the thoughts. You're not your body. You're a layer beyond the body. You, in a different sense of the term, are the observer of the vessel who is a body, or you're the observer of the string of thoughts which is also occurring in the vessel's brain. And you are not those thoughts. And when you realize that you are not the tense body, you then have the choice of allowing the body to remain tense, or deciding if you can allow the body to become untense. And there are different ways that you can help the body become untense. But until you realize that you are not the tensity or the tension, I'm just here making up words, until you realize that you are not that thing, you won't realize that you can modify it. Or you won't really, I guess, tease that out.
I think it also is a question of experience. If your experiences in life have, been fairly negative, then would it be reasonable to say that your expectations are going to be negative and you will have anxiety?
Until somebody slaps you in the face and says, "You're not that," it's never going to occur.
And even,
it's tough to naturally come onto that thought. I certainly did not naturally come into the idea of moving away from of anxiety. I had to look at many other resources and then think about it and then put those things to practice. And so it's like the person who anyone who is living in a negative situation
mm-hmm.
Will probably think the same way, to where they won't realize that they are not naturally in that negative state, and they may be forced into that position via many different
whatever
sociological circumstances there are. They could, and they have every right to be feeling bad. And again, we're not denying those negative feelings, but it's like they're not the negative feeling. They're the person who is currently experiencing that, and they have a choice on what to do about it.
I also think there's a question of having the negative experiences and then expecting the negative outcomes, but then you kind of have to, in order to realize that those outcomes aren't necessarily set in stone, you have to actually experience good, like, around you in order for that to happen. Like, you can't... I'm not saying in order for you to build a more like a more perfect or an realistic version of how things play out in the world.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have people who have negative experiences, they're going to think everything's negative. Because that is what they have experienced. That's what they think the world is. Mm. And if they keep, repeating the same things, and even in some cases looking to verify their version of the world, they're going to choose people and things that are going to verify the way they're feeling, that this is the way we should be. That's why, people end up in abusive relationships.
Oh, it's called something. It's there's that. Man, it is eluding me. But it's like.
But if you take somebody who's had bad experiences and then you start putting them around good people, or they start making the right choices and getting good people around them, they start getting a different experience.
Bad or good, putting that polarity there,
okay,
I think is doing an injustice.
But okay, I want to say healthy and not healthy, because there's definitely unhealthy situations to be in, and there's healthy situations to be in. You can say good or bad, but being in like saying, being in war, that's not a healthy state to be in.
No, it is quite the opposite.
Yeah, so, and then,
I wouldn't say that war is bad.
That's why I switched my wording to get it better. And unhealthy and healthy.
Actually, I was very fit when I was.
No, I meant the full body. This is a question of I'm trying to get a point across, is that if your entire experience of reality, or most of your experience of reality, is that people take advantage of you, or that people are violent, or that that's going to be what you expect. Cause and effect. That's what you're going to see.
Cause and effect, absolutely.
And so you need to get that counter. You need to experience that counter to believe that it actually exists.
For balance, the alternate reality must exist, and they must experience that.
Yeah, absolutely. To expect someone to act positively in a space where they've only experienced negative or unhealthy things is asking a lot.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And
I feel like that boils down to almost like conditioning. Like if you've been conditioned to only have type A reactions, then as soon as you're put into an alternate position and somebody is expecting type B, it's like they have no idea even how to operate in that zone.
So what I'm saying is, if you want to really change something, that necessarily just willing yourself out of it is maybe not, I don't know, I want to say it's not possible, but way more difficult than if you have a supportive environment around you that supports you.
Oh yeah.
Like
somebody just to say, hey man, it's all right.
Yeah, I have friends and they suffer from depression, and they do all these things that are off-putting to people, because they don't show up, they don't call, they don't come over, they don't say what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, you take that personally, and it's hard not to.
Yeah.
But it's about them. They're in a place where they can't handle it.
Yeah.
So the only thing you can do in that situation is just unconditional. You're saying, "Oh, you want to come over today? Fine. You want to come over?" I
feel like you're talking about unconditional love in a certain way, or just taking away
unconditional support,
which is love.
Yeah, I mean, some of it goes hand in hand.
My definition, at least.
But I don't necessarily have to love somebody to give them unconditional support.
What?
No.
You can give unconditional support to somebody that you don't even care about?
I mean,
that's like you're a saint.
Ideally, that would be what you want to shoot for, because that's a statement of who you are to the world. You want to give people support and give them every fucking chance to be the best possible person they can be.
Yeah.
And not take it personally upon yourself.
That's love.
Okay. All right.
I think we're saying the same thing with different terms.
Different. Right? That's probably it. But all I'm saying is, that you want.
I don't mean romantic love.
No, there's all kinds of different love. You're right. And that's all I'm saying, is that to be that ideal person, to be that better person that makes everybody around you better to, not, again, better, whatever, but, just to make, I don't know how else to say it other than better.
Yeah.
Like, you just want to be that person people want to be around, or that people want to help out, or that, that they're always looking to you for answers, is because you, despite...
I think everyone, to a certain degree, not everyone, that's the wrong term.
Mm-hmm.
Many people want to assist other people be happy.
Mm-hmm.
In whatever ways they can.
I think deep down most people want that, but because of life, especially for guys, I think that doesn't come out that way. Because for status in society and to, get the things you want, some guys, a lot of men get the image that you have to dominate.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way you get what you want in life.
Alpha.
Is alpha, right?
So there. Alpha, bro.
So alpha, bro. And that's the way you get to be what you want. And the problem is to an extent, it does work. To an extent.
There are certain places where that behavior gets you what you want.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, in other places, it's an exact opposite. Like, people, like, in a social situation, guys, like, come in, they'll be real strong, and then guys will walk away, and it's like, yeah, I scared you off. I'm like, dude, I just don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any respect for you. There's nothing about you that I just want to be around.
Yeah.
And so, I think that's how you get that little thing there where you're just like, alphaness is good. But if you actually look deeper into it, and the people that are like real, they do really great things, they're usually people who have a way about them that makes other people better.
What about Genghis Khan? He did great things.
Well, I mean,
Terrible things,
great awful things, but yeah, again, if you really want to, and he did, and
I'm assuming
he left, in a lot of ways, he left, as long as people submitted to him, he didn't do a lot to them. It was only when they stood up, so it's not like he was an asshole just to be an asshole. Kind of was.
He kind of was.
But at the same time, he wasn't, like, anytime there was one thing, he just punished people indiscriminately.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he was definitely, you can be great and evil, but is that the kind of thing you want?
No, I mean, it's not the type of greatness I desire.
Mm-hmm. And
I definitely know that I am a people pleaser. I want to please people. And I don't want to be anyone's enemy.
I don't know if, because again, I think people pleaser there's a thing about like pleasing people because you don't want the conflict.
Yeah.
And then you also gotta have to a point where, like, okay, sometimes you can't please people.
I know, and I'm okay with sometimes not pleasing people.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like, wow, if I'm desiring a specific outcome, man, so I'm not accepting. So, like, for instance, there are times at work when I can't always be the people pleaser.
No, you have to do what you need to do to get things done. I mean, that doesn't mean you have to be
you don't have to be a dick about it.
But you have to
but
make it clear.
You also don't have to be like the bubbly guy all the time.
Yeah, no, I just need you to get this done.
Get it done.
This is when it's due, and that's okay. Sir, do you need any help? And that's it. You don't have to be like, you're the greatest, this and this, and, I want you to be... But you want to know that...
then there's times when people let you down. And especially... And so there's times when people repeatedly let you down. And then you have to have a strong conversation with them and say, this is not okay. I expect you to change.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those conversations are difficult to give.
Yeah, no, but you have to be able to do them, because if you don't have those conversations, then it's the rest of the team that suffers.
Correct.
So, yeah, no. There's sometimes you can't always people please. I would say you like to help people. And helping people does not always mean pleasing people.
True. That's true.
So sometimes you gotta help.
I do love to help people.
So you give people help whenever they ask for it, but
it's not always the help that they want.
That's
Sometimes
another...
it is,
Mhm.
but so it's like it's the need versus want. It's like, hey, I want a new Bentley. No, bro, you need a bike, right? You could do everything that you need on a bike.
Yeah, you can get from point A to point B, or maybe
Yeah.
no, you don't need that. You just need a 2002 Ford Corolla or something that gets you to point A and point B.
Yeah.
And
You need a puddle jumper. That's it.
Stargate. Love Stargate. We should watch an episode when we're done.
Yeah. Hey.
Anyways, so do we have one last?
Let's see. Did we close the thread on death? I feel like
we kind of meander from death into like.
Then when I started talking about tools, observation, we started talking about observation. We can let that one go. Ultimately, what I just wanted to bring to viewership was that, everyone's going to die. And that's okay. And a good way to, even if you're going to die today, somebody out there is going to die today.
Statistically, yes.
Statistically accurate. Also, a morbid statement.
That's true.
So, I think it's not about when you die. It's about how you die, and it's also about how you live. Because we're all going to die. But we're all going to live, but we're not all going to live the same. And so it's like one of my favorite quotes of The Last Samurai is.
I never saw that movie.
A great Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
I think they made fun of that. Yeah, they made fun of that on Chappelle's show.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was Mooney or whatever that comedian is he had on it, like, Last Samurai.
Yeah. But it's life in every breath. It's like, this dude is like, he's, I think a tree is blossoming and it's beautiful and it's this beautiful moment. Or he's dying, I think. And it's life in every breath. And so, and this also goes back to how you experience time. For the being who lives forever and who experiences, an epoch is a snap of the finger. If you're experiencing life in every breath, then the moments last longer, the days stretch out. Because you're not thinking about something else. You're not living in an alternate timeline. You're living right here in the conversation, caring about how you inflect, listening actively. And it's just like, in my opinion, the way that I stave or move away from death depression is I focus on how I live, because I can't control the fact that I'm going to die. I think you have a certain relative amount of control over your general health in certain degrees, but then there are people who have disease, and so there's less control, but you have control over how you experience those moments that you have.
That's true.
And really, that's the only control we have. So that's why I wanted to bring up the topic of death.
Yeah, we didn't think that we'd get the whole living forever thing. My mind goes to weird places.
Yeah. No, but so I've been playing around with this story in my head, where there's this person who gets god powers, basically.
Sure.
And it's tough to write a story about a god person because they can do anything, and any sort of conflict they have.
What kind of conflict you can
what
have?
What conflict can you give?
Done.
Yeah. Well, they're gone because I'm God. But so the fun thing is that they can be completely dismembered and rematerialize because they turn into dust. It's kind of like sentient dust, and then he starts making universes. And
it's kind of a similar thought to the I want to say the precursors in Halo, not the because in Halo there's the Forerunners, which is who made the Halo rings, but before them, the precursors, and they were, I think what they called them in the books, the show, was transcendent.
Oh.
They were like beyond sentient or something.
Yeah.
And that they could evolve and devolve, and they could change themselves.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of that.
Evolve
That
and devolve.
you can become like, just little protoplasm and then become these highly advanced species that experiences time weird. And so that kind of made me think of that. What else was your God character gonna do?
So I never got that far, but he basically. Well, I never completed the story in my mind, but his nemesis, he brings along with him, and he keeps making universes where he's trying to give his nemesis or like his enemy, his rival, chance to better himself. And in every instance, he always just turns into this giant asshole, and he just comes in and he just like wipes him away. He says, "Try again."
So almost like The Good Place.
Yeah.
Like you're like we put you in the bad place.
Yeah.
And we try to teach you something, and then you fuck it up. We do it again.
Well, let's go
again and again and again and again. Like people are in there for 1 billion years before they make it to the good
before
place.
They make it to the good place.
And I was like, yeah, that's I like that.
I love The Good Place.
Yeah, that was a great show. Jeremy Bearimy. I love that.
Let's see. Do we want to do something heavy or something light? Or something medium?
I think we should go for light, because a lot of that, that talk earlier was super depressing.
It's pretty depressing. Let's talk about exercise and the benefits.
Oh, you think that's not depressing?
It's not.
Okay, that's fair. All right.
Depressing. I mean,
I keep
exercise is tough, but it's easy.
Simple.
It's simple.
Don't confuse those two things. It is not always easy. It is simple.
Once you get into the swing of things, it's easier, and it's a simple concept.
Yeah. Habit is easy. Forming habits,
tough.
Not so much.
The importance of exercise. I will stage this. Let's see. Where are my notes here? How I've experienced it. I've been through periods of life where I've exercised more.
Sure.
Just like many other people, nobody's working out all the time. But so, when I was getting ready to get married, I was like, I gotta have that beach bod, And so I was working out a lot.
Ryan Reynolds it up and shit.
Right, yeah, absolutely. And so this was when I was working back at the planetarium, and I was riding my bike to work. 6.5 miles both ways. In most cases, into the wind. Because it's Chicago, and it's some miraculous way.
It goes one way when you're going.
I swear it goes both ways. But it's like, there are certain days. Man, there was this one day, I got downtown in 21 minutes on my bike from Lakeview. It took me 35 minutes to get back, because I was into the wind. It's like, with the wind, in the wind. But so, when you exercise, it helps your sleep. You feel better. Because you're giving your body drugs. You're releasing endorphins.
Well, so you're doing more of what your body was designed to do instead of...
Where we have evolved from active creatures. And we are not
hunter-gatherers up until, 20,000 years ago?
Yeah,
so
we shouldn't be sitting around doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we start to feel bad because we have been doing nothing. And it's like, and some of those, to me, I get a little anxious when I've been, feeling like I've been doing nothing. So then I'll do a whole bunch of stuff. So I think for me, personally, this is why I rearrange. Because I'm moving stuff around, and I know that I'm a very geometric person. I think, my mathematics, my mind, works more on geometry than it does algebra. I see more shapes than I do numbers.
My dad has that exact thing. He can look at a tunnel in a car wash.
Yeah.
And he can tell you if for 100 feet if it's off by 2 degrees.
Oh, it's crazy.
And he could just see it, and I'm just looking at him like, it's level. He's like, no, it's not.
It's like, what?
How do you see that? Are you a machine? I don't even think machines could do that.
I think they could.
Well, yeah, 2 degrees across 100 feet probably.
Yeah,
but
it's just optical,
Whatever, yeah, an optical line, dude. But yeah, just
But
humans.
the point, well, that's what,
Mm-hmm.
bringing ourselves back here, exercise. The importance of exercise and how it impacts people who are depressed. It helps people sleep.
Mm-hmm. Sleep is important.
It helps generate
Endorphins.
hunger. Some people aren't eating right. Some people don't eat. Some people aren't hungry. Malnutrition occurs in different ways because you're either eating poorly or not eating.
Mm-hmm.
Eating disorders are a real thing.
For sure.
But there are so the reason why I think this is a light topic, because if you do it, you feel great. There are, I think, 3 things that all of us can do, which will change 80% of us, like 80% of our feelings. Exercise, eat well, and sleep. Those things do so much for us. And when you don't do one of them,
The others suffer.
the others suffer.
True.
But I haven't been working out or exercising, and man, I wish I did.
You gotta find.
I gotta find time.
Well, you also gotta find like something that you want to do, because, I mean, that was something you did because it was on the way to work.
Yeah.
You know,
It's easy when it's like
integrated into your life versus okay, I have to take an hour outside of my day to go to the gym and do this, because let's be honest, unless that's like how you live your life, if you're a gym rat, that's what you like to do, that's great. But for a lot of people, like, you know,
I can't spend an hour in the gym. No way.
But yeah, no, finding different ways to be active.
Tabata. I'm gonna bring this to the viewership and the listenership. Tabata is a different way of working out. 4 minutes is all you really need. Maybe 2 of these 4-minute cycles. 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. You can do any exercise in this method of working out, and you will have more gains than if you spend an hour in the gym. Look it up. There is some science behind this bold statement. Do less. If you do less, it's more. Because it's like I certainly don't have that much time to spend an hour at the gym. Nor are you getting more gains than if you just worked out effectively. And so there's a lot to be said about this high intensity interval training. But so there's like some people claim that you only need 15 minutes of HIIT. I would challenge anyone.
Training.
Yeah, high intensity interval training. I would challenge anyone to do 2 Tabata sets every day, or every other day, because you can do it every day if you're rotating your muscle groups appropriately. But anyone who has not been working out, don't jump into, I'm going to work out every day. That's like, no.
That's a recipe for failure.
It's a recipe for failure. So maybe you should strive for 3 times a week, or even once a week. Just start there and see how you feel differently. I know that when I work out, I have more energy.
Yeah.
Which seems counterintuitive.
Well, it probably conditions your muscles and stuff to work more efficiently. And so...
But it's like making energy.
I think it could be that, more releasing the energy from your cells. But I also think it's making your muscles work more efficiently, and therefore you have all this energy, but now you're using it 20% more effectively. So
maybe
then you're in effect getting what? I don't know, how much more energy to work with.
120 off your numbers.
Yeah,
I think. I don't know. But my first challenge to you was nutrition.
Oh, I thought we weren't layering challenges. Are we doing a new challenge every week now?
No, I'm just segueing to eventually know what my next one's going to be.
Fun.
Yeah. And it will be, and so I don't want to limit you only to doing one change, because in my opinion, so it's like big transformations occur when you make lots of little changes. I would say we make lots of little changes, not do big global changes.
Yeah, I still think I need to focus a little bit on the vegetable cooking
Vegetable cooking.
and actually investing a little bit of time into it before I jump in.
That's true.
I mean, I wouldn't be adverse in a month if you want to, or in 3 weeks when we do the next challenge. I would. That would be great.
3 weeks.
But I would also
Start stretching now.
also I kind of like using the Oculus more when I exercise. Like when I'm doing Beat Saber.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Cardio.
Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with cardio. It's exercise.
But you will. Cardio is one way to exercise, and it's a decent way to cut. But you will end up burning more fat if you lift weights.
Yeah, I have weights in my front room. I use them occasionally.
And if you did the Tabata with those weights, or a high hit with those weights, then you end up burning fat when you're doing nothing for longer. Versus you do cardio, you're burning your fat then. If you lift weights in that manner, then you can be burning fat for a day and a half afterwards.
Yeah, I'll have to think about it. Because, again,
Oculus-
we're trying to institute changes that'll change life and not, like, something that I'm not gonna wake up every morning and lift weights, or, is that likely a thing for me to do? I mean, it could, I could just wake up and do 20 curls and
Not
whatever.
everybody wants to do workouts when they wake up. Some people want to do it before they go to bed. Some people want to do it
Yeah, that wakes me up.
at like in the middle of the day. I love going for day runs. I love cardio. I would challenge myself with lifting weights. I want to challenge you with lifting weights. I would challenge you with cardio.
Well, also because right now with impending medical issues, lifting weights might not be the best thing for me. I mean, right now is okay. In a few months' time, might be problematic.
Yeah.
So I'm more looking if I'm trying to integrate some exercise in myself to be healthy, just trying to find what I'm interested in.
Absolutely. So
to be more likely to carry it.
Hacking yourself is so important, which is one of the reasons why I started joggling.
I know. Initially I thought that was like the weirdest thing, and then I'm like, he's exercising. Who gives a crap?
Yeah,
he's getting healthier.
I used to love to run, but then I started to get bored, and then so I got into like audiobooks, and those are great. But then I got bored, and then I started listening to audiobooks and juggling and running at the same time, and then I realized I was probably doing too much.
I kept running into people for reasons I didn't understand.
No, it's like I had to like bring myself back to I don't have to be doing so many things to be experiencing joy, because I almost feel like I'm trying to fit in too much stuff to where I'm like, am I juggling? Am I running? Am I reading? Couldn't I just be doing one thing and experiencing that joy versus trying to need to multitask like that? But I'm really just trying to emphasize the importance of hacking yourself. Find something that you like to do that is healthy versus doing something which is healthy for you, which you hate.
Yeah. What I'm thinking is it's the novelty of it. That means running every single day gets boring. It's just going to be that way because doing the same thing over and over and over just gets boring, even if you love it. After a while, not all the time, you can still love something you're doing for a long time, but it'll be boring. So adding in juggling one day, or maybe, jogging backwards or something, or,
switch it up.
Yeah, switch it up, or hacky sack while you're going to just do, like...
Ooh, knee juggling.
Doing different things to make it so that task is not as laborious as it needs to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's what you needed. You were starting to overcomplicate it by doing the juggling and the books and the running at the same time. So maybe, like, instead of doing all three. Maybe you do running and juggling, and then maybe the next day you do running and listening to a book.
Or I could just juggle heavy things, and then I don't even need to run.
You could give it a try. I'm not sure how I don't know. I never really juggled, so I suck at it. But
last season I was just getting into clubs, and this was my next evolution.
Oh, you mean like
pins.
I was like clubs. You're going clubbing?
Because the juggling the balls eventually got to be too easy, and I got bored with it. And then I started making moves, and I was doing behind the back, off the knee, and then I was like, I need to evolve. So I've been just like, I didn't want to introduce another ball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not very good at juggling 4 yet. So I introduced the clubs, and man, that is a challenge. But we'll see what this running season turns into.
So, if you were going to challenge me, and this would be something actually that might help me a lot more because it would get me to fix my PC, and that would be Dance Crisis Conga.
Oh my god. I knew you were going to bring this up.
I love Dance Crisis Conga. I've been talking about it for like 20 years
You
now.
had to challenge yourself to it.
Okay. You can choose what it is. I
challenge you to make Dance Crisis Conga.
Okay, can we, 3 weeks?
In 3 weeks.
Yeah, okay, fine. We'll do that. Come on
It's
with one for you.
All right.
It's in the queue.
It's in the queue. All right, but I think that's all our time.
Yeah, we got to figure out one for your friend when he comes on.
Oh, no, we don't have to challenge him with something. Challenges are for us.
We challenge everybody all the time.
Everyone? Challenge.
We should.
Challenge.
We should make a monthly challenge for
Yeah.
people who watch this in case, somebody actually does watch this or listens to
or
this.
listens to it.
Maybe we'll do that when we do the new challenge in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's again, we're just
I challenge listeners
to listen to the next podcast.
to listen to the next podcast.
There you go.
No, that's messed up. I
Well,
challenge.
we'll talk.
We don't challenge anyone yet.
We'll talk about it between this and the
We'll make some
2
good
weeks.
challenges, which hopefully provide value.
All right. Well,
Thanks for listening to Brohelio.
Thanks for listening to us, and we hope you have a great day
And an even better week.
Yep.